To my website, uberalpha.com. I'm the director of research, and me, along with my staff, have come up with something that will give you an experience like you've never had before. You will see things that you probably thought were not possible, but they are. And they're possible with the right kind of research. The research we've been doing for years that we finally put together into something incredibly useful and incredibly powerful. We started to test this out in real time on May 25th, 2006. And the results since then speak for themselves. Let me show you. What we do is we forecast the market on a daily basis. And we do this by simply looking at what we call market pressure. And in order to get an estimate of market pressure for the next day, what we do is we take a look at mountains of data, absolutely mountains, and come up with what the up pressure is likely to be and what the down pressure is likely to be. Because as we know, markets go up and down. Now, here's the interesting part. What we do is we put out a number for the next day like 6 and 3. In that case, we would be forecasting the up pressure to be 6 and the down pressure to be 3. How this gets interesting is there's a ratio there of 3 to 1. And what we do is we simply look at, is the ratio up or is the ratio down? And in that, what we found is that after we started going live on the 25th of May 2006, things worked out better than we ever thought possible, because this was the results before then. So, what this chart reflects, on days when we forecast up, we took the positive points. On days we forecast up and things went the other way, well, we took the negative, as seen in this down thing here. Okay? So when they go against us, we take away points. When they go with us, we add the points. Very simple. Straightforward. Now, this was developed not just for the S&P, but it's useful in the DAX, in the Dow, and even in the Russell. Now, all the charts you're seeing here are simply based upon what we call zero-based pressure. In other words, if the up pressure is 21 and the down pressure is 20, the pressure is up for tomorrow. Simple as that. And as you can see, for the entire year, the number of theoretical points in the Dow that this has gained is over 3,500. And since May, it has done over 2,000 points. So what happens now if we optimize this a little bit? We simply say, well, let's see if we can do less. In other words, if we can have more days that are neutral. So we would only focus upon days that have a pressure of, let's say, 2.0 or greater. What we found was that we were able to increase the number right by 2%. It went from 59% in the Russell to 61%. And, even more interesting, something called the profit factor increased by over 25%. It went from 1.96 to 2.58. And this is all by having more neutral, non-active days. Looking primarily for the days that are very likely to go in our favor. We did these tests for the Russell, we did these tests for the S&P, and found that we gained more points that way by being more particular. So we asked the question, what if we were even more particular? But we were particular based upon certain criteria. For example, if the pressure had what we call two arrows. In other words, if our up pressure today is up and our down pressure today is down, that was what we called 2 up arrows, and vice versa. So the end result is that that would be a 2 arrow day. And on days where we had 2 arrow days and the pressure was between 2 and 20, we threw that in our mix. We added other things to our mix. For example, rather than only looking at pressure of 2.0 or greater, we said, now we want pressure between 5 and 10. And then we said, well, what about those even days? And we gathered a formula for dealing with those that had to do with the arrows and what the prior day's pressure was. And so we put that all into a computer system, and this is what we came up with. Something that increases the winning percentage to 67%. And also very interesting, makes the profit factor go from 2.58 to 3.68 in the Russell. Now the reason why we focus so much attention on the Russell index is because it's so nice and broad. Much broader than the S&P or the NASDAQ, and especially broader than the Dow. So it is very hard to manipulate. And as you can see from the charts here, as a result of using this technique, where we're effectively saying less is more, by having less commotion, we have more motion, and more motion in our favor, is the principle. Same thing that 80-20 people use, that generate 80% of the results with 20% of the effort. What we'd like to do is we'd like to invite you to contact us. Our email address is staff@uberalpha.com. Ask for the Director of Research, that's me, and I will get back to you. We'd like to invite you to work with us in using our indicator on a daily basis, because it is our indicator that can make a significant difference in whatever trading system you're using. Thank you for listening.